Hello and welcome back to Sky Gardens. Hello everyone and happy Friday to you guys. If you are new to this project, this is my Sky Gardens project where we are building a zoo on top of a gigantic skyscraper. In order to follow this series, I am gonna put a link to the top right now so you can follow from the first episode, because this is already episode number 7, and in today's episode we're going to add the Bairds Tapir. Now, for those people who are following me, they know that this animal has quite a story, especially with my channel and with me. So it is the master race, the most important animal of the game. And to ensure that this one has a beautiful habitat, this whole episode will be dedicated to their enclosure. Now, or I should say habitat, right? Enclosure is always like such a bad word, but honestly, I remember at the very beginning that, you know, people were a bit like, hey, just call it exhibit or like a habitat and not enclosure, because enclosure is kind of, you know, the word for captivity. But I don't know, I just found that many people still use enclosure and don't really have a negative meaning with it. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, what's your most go-to word to use in order to describe the area where an animal lives in a zoo. I mean, you know, we are talking about a zoo, so that is basically the enclosure then, because it is definitely in captivity. I mean, in order to avoid that, you must need to build like a conservation area or whatever. So that would be the one thing that I wanted to quickly ask you guys, because I was a bit confused lately. I was thinking about it again, and I kind of learned to use the word habitat, or at least exhibit. But yeah, so this is what it is. Now we are starting off with a little fence design, and this fence design is something that kind of guides us through today's episode. It's a little bit of a modern art style, or modernistic art style, just in order to make sure that these people walking over on the right hand side of this habitat here are not really looking into the Bairds Tapir habitat at this point. I really wanted to give them the privacy they need at this point in time, and I wanted to force people to look to the right hand side, which in fact is the capuchin monkey and the giant anteater habitat. And yeah, it's really like, I do like this design quite a bit, because it is very simple. It doesn't have that many pieces, and you will see in the end when we put some foliage in that it will become something really cool looking, and it really fits the style over here. And I just wanted to make sure that we have something that doesn't really look like a boring metal fence, but something that is really looking nice, and yeah, some kind of not tidy, but, you know, a bit overgrown, as if it would fit in here, and people just not throwing their stuff in here into this habitat. And that was the main idea, also for the keepers to be able to go in and have some, you know, some calm time feeding the animals and bring some stuff in. And yeah, as you can see, I was just really carefully placing these kind of foliage pieces over here. I think it's a crowberry bush, and I think this piece is one of my most favorite pieces in the game, because it's a really cool greenery that you can use basically to make everything you want in terms of ground cover, wall cover, or like even roof cover, because it's pretty thin, yet has a wonderful green tint to it. So it's kind of a cool piece. It's like a very generic greenery piece that you can use all over the place. So I really encourage you guys to use that a bit more often, because it's really cool. Now, yeah, let's talk about what is happening in this episode anyways, because you can see this is the Bairds Tapir area, and it's a very long tunnel-ish habitat. The reason for that is obviously we don't have that much space on the skyscraper, and I wanted to make sure that we maximize the space given. I must add though that even in terms of the requirements of this game, the animal has enough, like way enough stuff. So we even have we even have enough water for them. We even have enough land area, and so that's kind of surprising, but I mean, I take it. I would have even taken it if it's a bit slightly less, like for the Komodo, for example, we don't have that much. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a thing going on in the game, and I think this frontier actually tackled this already in a forum post. So it takes a while until your animals really start moving in the habitat. And I think it is really down to the way the game now calculates the overall traversable area. And therefore, I really encourage you guys as well to bring in your animals as early as you can into your habitats. As you can see, I was really putting them down very early on, and there you saw it. One of the two animals were just starting to move over, but then they stopped again because I was still placing stuff down. But if you want to make sure that your animals keep moving quickly, you want to really bring them in at the very beginning, because that is where it all starts and when the animal starts to learn what the habitat is about. And at a certain point, they really start moving around, and the one is already done. The other one got stuck over here, as you can see. I needed to remove it from the non-traversable area where it got for some reason, but yeah. Now it really kind of developed quickly, I have to say. We did this in a live stream, by the way. So for those of you who don't know, I am really, at the moment, I gotta say, I'm really on a regular basis live streaming on Twitch. So in order you want to catch me playing Planet Zoo, I highly recommend to come there. And yeah, just enjoy the game with us, because it's always a little bit of a funny chat going on, and always very interesting, because we basically, I think in every live stream so far, we solved a little bit of a riddle of Planet Zoo. We always found out something new. People in the chat always reporting their experiences, and then, yeah, you know, every now and then we just test some things. So in order to make sure that you guys are not, you know, always kind of annoyed by it from what is happening in the live stream, I always cut it out, and it's always fun to be there and just, you know, enjoy the time. So if you wanna be part of it, just make sure to jump into the description. There's the link to Twitch. Give me a follow over there, and then next time you'll be notified when I'm going live. And yeah, I think for this week, it's about it. I think maybe on the weekend, if I do it spontaneously. If not, on Monday again, I definitely gonna do a live stream. So that's gonna be very cool, and I'm really looking forward to that again. And yeah, we still have enough projects to play. So last time we did Sky Gardens, potentially next time again. The main reason is that in Germany at the moment, the overall regulations, because of this very special time, they are going to be loosened quite a bit. So we have a lot more possibilities from Monday on. A lot of things open up. For example, zoos and museums and parks and playgrounds and stuff. Everything's open again. Obviously, you need to follow some instructions, but honestly, they are not as heavy as, you know, as it would kind of make you not enjoy it. So it's really cool, and you can actually do a lot of stuff again. I definitely want to go to the zoo soon again, but that also means that, you know, it definitely is less time for the channel. And also in 2 weeks time, the home office will be removed, so to say, again. We slowly will be getting back into the agency. We will do it in groups, I guess, as far as I understood. But that also means that I will have less time to cut the episodes, because just in case you're interested, follow me for the next couple of minutes before we talk again about the habitat. But normally I only have time from like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning when I do my YouTube stuff. And that includes everything. It includes playing, cutting, commenting. Everything you can imagine is done in these 3 hours. And as you can imagine, that's not as much time as you would need to really do the amount of stuff I do at the moment. So having home office really enables me to do more, because I can do the cutting basically during my work time, because cutting doesn't take any time. It just is the time that the file renders and my computer runs. And I can do this next to my job because I've got my MacBook, and so I can just keep it on my Windows to leave the file rendering, and I just need every now and then a few minutes to just bring it in and press play. So it's really handy. And the same goes for very annoying stuff like reading and stuff like that. I can really always leave this running next to my job, and this is kind of cool because it doesn't affect my job at all, and I still can do a lot more, and so I can really focus in the evening on playing the game and creating content, if you will. So that's really cool, but this will definitely be taken away again in a few weeks time. And so long story short, I will need to finish this project as soon as I can, because I definitely will not be able to maintain 3 different projects at the same time while having to travel to work again, because that's again another fact. Like as soon as I need to go to work again, I will definitely stuck in traffic jam for like over 1.5 hours a day, which at the moment I don't have. So again, 1.5 hours that are basically handed to me for free, and that is kind of stuff that you definitely will, yeah, well, it will be lost. So 1.5 hours per day will be gone standing on the street and creating some bad air in the environment, right? So this is what we will do again. That's life, I guess. But yeah. Now, this is just a story about why I want to focus on finishing this project rather soon and also releasing it to the workshop. That said, here's me reminding you of the fact that I'm still needing a lot of blueprints for the skyscraper. So therefore, I created a new little thread, a temporary thread in my Discord channel where you can put in all the blueprints to your skyscrapers. Again, just as a little explanation. I am building a little city around this huge skyscraper to give a bit of context, and I will include your blueprints to do so, and I will need you to send me some blueprints of skyscrapers. They can be looking like whatever you want them to look like. My own little rule was that I said, okay, it must be something that goes in line with like Rio de Janeiro or Buenos Aires, so something like South American big cities, you know, that kind of metropoles in South America. That is about the idea. And yeah, I just really would love to incorporate your designs, because the next episode will be focusing on the little dedication area. It's going to be a peafowl garden with a lot of little dedication stones, I want to call them, where every single one of you will be put down to. For those of you who contributed some blueprints, I will put your names down to these things before I release this thing. So that's going to be really cool, and I really hope that you guys are I just still sending in some designs of the skyscrapers. Again, I will make a little thread in the Discord channel, and then you will be able to just drop the Steam workshop link in there and potentially see this in the last episode in this park or in this zoo. That's gonna be very cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, as we approach already the last third of today's episode, you can see the habitat is mainly done. We are now building a little bridge design over here, because that was the last thing that was not done to connect these two areas. This is the bridge that leads over to the jaguar habitat and the jaguar house. And on the left hand side, while you travel towards the jaguar house, you will have the capuchin monkey habitat, or the capuchin, whatever. I just recently told you guys that I knew someone was commenting in my videos and also in the live stream that it is capuchin, like chin, but there's still, I just watched a lot of documentations now, or documentaries about these monkeys in order to understand how they pronounce the name, and everyone pronounces them in a different way. So our fellow friend Edinburgh, he is calling them capuchin monkeys, like really quickly capuchin, in order to, he's focusing on the word capu. And other people, like from modern zoo kind of things, they call them capuchin monkeys, and some others say capuchin. So it's really weird. Like, there's no common belief, I guess, or like no common understanding of how you want to call these animals. So I'm sticking with capuchin monkey for now. I don't know if that's, if you find this funny, that's fine, but I'm just like completely confused now, because I tried to find the real one, and it seems there is no common way of pronouncing this animal, which is weird, but hey, whatever. Yeah, you can see that I'm doing a bit of a design here on the bridge with putting some of these signs in to make some of the animals go in. Obviously, we have the camel going in a few seconds, because we cannot have anything without the camel. There you go, the camel is here. We won't have the camel on top of the roof though, just mentioning this. But yeah, you can see the bridge is starting to form, and while traveling over the bridge, it almost seems like that there is a habitat for actually connected between both sides, but in fact it isn't. It's a little bit of a shame, because it could be connected in terms of the species enrichment, or interspecies enrichment. It would perfectly work between the giant anteater, the Bairds Tapir, and the capuchin monkey, but it really doesn't work because the game won't let me. Simply because I would need to bring the keeper somehow over to the other side, and since we cannot have two gates, it's a little bit of a finicky thing to do, and I decided to just separate the habitats and just make it appear as if they could swim over, and just never do. I mean, that's legitimately the only thing I could do, and I'm happy with it. Yeah, we are doing a little bit of a sunshade design here, which I have to say I'm really happy how it turned out in the end. It was a pain to build, but it is very fun to see how it turned out in the end, because you know, this place over here will be boiling hot. You know, it's gonna be on top of a roof of a gigantic skyscraper in a South American area where there is potentially a lot of sun. So this will be really hot up here, and that's also the reason why I'm really going crazy with the foliage and everything, because it definitely needs to be a lot of shade here. And this bridge, especially having the water surrounding it, which is kind of reflecting the sunlight even more and making it even more hot, would be potentially one of the hottest places in here. And so I decided to put some shades down just to make sure that, you know, the people are in the game being in shade a bit more. And I think that's kind of cool. Actually, it does really cool the area down a little bit, which I think is really great that the game does it. It's really cool. Like, shade and indoor have an effect on temperature, which I think is absolutely fantastic that the game does it. And I just think that this is a cool way of cooling this bridge at least a little bit down. And again, as I said, in terms of the guests, that's really good because they have a bit of shade here and they prefer to sit there. Now, as this was already the end of today's Bairds Tapir habitat, the last couple minutes will be going into planning the next episode. Now, I left this in because next episode will potentially be a bit bigger. I'm planning to have the peafowl dedication area in and the orangutan habitat, as you guys were asking for quite a lot. This is one of the most favorite animals, it seems, that should go into this rooftop sky garden zoo. And yeah, this is going to be exactly what it will be. Now you can see I'm just planning the habitat ahead here, just making sure that this is where the peafowls can roam around. It's not going to be like a really like a dedicated habitat for them. It's more or less that the peafowl is roaming around in this central area of the zoo. Unfortunately, I cannot make it the whole zoo because the game, I tried this off screen, but it's quite a bit for the game. The bigger you make the habitat, the more lag you create. And yeah, I just decided to make this very central area where the peafowl is roaming around, or the peafowls. And yeah, it's gonna work out nicely, so it's very exciting, and I hope you guys are tuning in for the next episode. I'm not sure exactly when it will be, somewhere next week, and yeah, there's going to be a lot on this weekend, so make sure to stay with me and check the channel this weekend. So today there's also a Planet Coaster POV, which I'm super proud of. I used reshade and it looks gorgeous. Then we will have on Saturday, so tomorrow, there will be Yosemite again with the Nile Monitor habitat, which is also pretty freaking awesome. Then on Sunday, we will have franchise again and City Skylines, which I worked on for over 2 weeks, and it's quite a really good progress. And also more POVs from Planet Coaster. So quite a bit going on. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I hope to see you and talk to you in the next episode. Until then, have a good time, stay safe everyone, and goodbye.